This is the story of how 13 students from Thailand climbed one of the snowy mountains in Australia. They came to Australia in April 2006 on a 2-month study trip to learn about Aussie culture as part of their graduate study at Prince of Songkhla University in southern Thailand. The teacher is Dawn, a retired professor from Macquarie University in Sydney. The mountain is Mount Kalkite, located just a few kilometers west of the northern end of Lake Jindabyne. It looks easy to climb, but its peak is only 600 meters higher than the lake. The trouble is that the usual climb involves driving a long way north to the Gangalim River and then walking nearly 10 kilometers south. Don tried this with a group of his students 10 years ago, but they ran out of time and didn't make it to the top. Today, he's going to try an alternative using a canoe. Thailand is about as different from Australia as you can get. The students have never seen snow, and they are excited about the prospect. They come from all over Thailand, but most are from Pattani province in the south, where they are doing masters and PhDs in research methodology. They are staying at a ski lodge built by Don and his wife, Lynn. Dee is a senior lecturer in statistics at Chiang Mai University who's a keen climber. Wachirin teaches computing at a medical college north of Bangkok. A is an environmental scientist in the fisheries office in Pattani. Several of the graduate students are on the staff at Prince of Songkhla University in Pattani. Caesar is in the International Relations Office. Chok Chai teaches fisheries technology. Piradi is a lecturer in the Applied Mathematics department. Cho works in the Fine Arts faculty. Nushi is a lecturer in the Mathematics department at another campus, 100 kilometers west of Pattani. Fatima works in the planning office. Sarawut is a senior government officer in the Ministry of Fisheries. Somsawat is majoring in computing and will soon start his Master of Science. Suhaila majored in chemistry and is now doing her master's in research methodology. Manao majored in general science and is now doing her master's in research methodology. It's only a short drive from the lodge to the boat launch site. Don has borrowed a van from his friend, Mark. The top of the mountain is close, but some planning is needed to get everybody across the lake to where the climbing will start. The best swimmers, Wachirin, Sarawut, and A, will go in the canoe, while the others will walk 2 kilometers along the shore and then be ferried across where the estuary is narrower. The weather is good, cool, and not a cloud in the sky. There is no wind. There's barely a ripple on Lake Jindabyne. The two groups separate. The walkers are fascinated by the local fauna. On the eastern shore of Lake Jindabyne, there are several beef cattle farms. The water in the lake is clear. The students are excited. They see yappy shells. They love to take photos.
มีเปลือกเคลฟิชเยอะเลยเรียกว่าแหล่งน้ำนี้มีพวกกุ้งน้ำจืดเยอะมันลอกคราบไงเคลฟิชครับอาจารย์เป็นไงนาวิเกเตอร์
ตอนนี้เรายังเริ่มต้นค่ะเราสู้ตาย
ลงทางแล้ว
ยังไม่ได้จ่ายอาจารย์จะเรียกไปเรื่อยๆหลอกเรา
Having safely deposited Watchering, Surawut, and A on the other side, Dawn begins to ferry the other 10 students across. 3 crossings are needed. The first group will be Nushi, Suhaila, Manal, and Apiradi. Unlike most Australians who grow up on the beach, few Thai people can swim or would never risk going into the water without a life jacket.
Get in. Sit down. Sit down. Get as close as possible. Move back. Suhaila, move back. Move back.
ถอยหลัง
ไปนั่งตักมะนาวไป
Okay, turn around. Sit down. Sit on the floor. Okay.
Sit on the floor
Sit
เวลา
down.
ถอยอีก
Sit down. Quickly. Sit down. Sit down.
จะดีระวัง
Careful. Balance.
แล้วนั่งนิ่งๆนะนาวอย่าโยกนะ
ขับใจดีๆไว้
สวดดูอาไว้
บอกไม้บอกมือก็ได้
ไว้อย่าร้อง
Okay, now. Like that.
นั่งนิ่งๆนั่งนิ่ง
Like me? Like that. We're going to go backward.
ๆ5 เมตรเองนั่งนิ่ง
Okay. Now we're going to turn around. So just keep paddling.
ถือไว้ค่ะอาจารย์จะหมุนถือไว้เฉย
Okay, now paddle the other way.
ๆถ่ายรูปบรรยายน้ำลึกอ่ะ
Come on, push harder, Sonsoa. You ever rowed before? You ever done this before? Have you ever paddled a canoe before? Have you ever?
เคยผ่าน
Ah, well, come on, you got to learn fast.
Getting across safely provides yet another photo opportunity. At last, everybody is safely across. Stage 1 of the Odyssey has been completed. The initial climb is steep, but they are lucky. The usually impenetrable undergrowth has not yet recovered from the bushfire that swept through the snowy mountains 3 years ago, and provides a relatively easy route to higher ground.
ชันขนาดนี้แล้วไหวไหมวันนี้ขนาดจุดจะสตาร์ทก็ชันขนาดนี้รอยไฟไหม้ต้องรอยไฟไหม้เหรอต้นนู้นเนี่ยต้นนู้นทำไมอ๋อไฟไหม้เหรอ
It's 11 o'clock, on time for morning tea. John shows his students how to figure out the direction using the sun and a watch. There's a gully to the north separating them from the mountain. Don explains that it would be easier to get to the top by traversing around the contour. He tells them about his friend Susan, a skiing novice who went skiing with him at Treadbow Resort late in the season, but had to learn to traverse because the only snow left was higher up on the steeper slopes. The students will get a chance to ski before they go back to Thailand, so here's an opportunity for a lesson in some basics. Caesar wants to know if we are nearly there.
Okay. All right. How are you, Caesar? You're tired already? Oh, we've got a long way to go. Because we've got you have to learn to do the traverse. Otherwise, you won't be able to ski there. Maybe I think in the winter there's probably snow here. Yeah. Maybe not.
Dawn wants to pee behind a tree but can't check off Dee, who is following him closely. He tells her it's pee o'clock, but she doesn't understand. It's Suhaila's birthday. She's 24 today. Don tried to explain that fire is necessary for the native trees to propagate in Australia. The students ask about the edge of the snowy mountains. He points out that the Australian Aborigines sustained their environment here for 45,000 years, whereas until a few hundred years ago, Europeans believed that their god made the world only 6,000 years ago. The students are telling a dirty story. Suhaila finally gets the joke. It's 12 o'clock and time for a break. Caesar wants to have lunch, but the ones who want to get to the top know from experience that they won't make it if lunch is eaten too early. There's too far to go.
Su สู้กล้องจริงเลยคู่นี้
ได้ค่ะ
I'm a camel, I know.
ถ่ายแล้วถ่ายแล้ว
2 คัน
ชิดๆหน่อยชิดๆหน่อยชิดๆหน่อยมันตกเฟรมได้ซบนิดซบนิด
เราอัดเทปไปแล้วนะว่า2 คันอ่ะ
สวยอยู่
Okay.
เห็นไหม
ปัตตานีใครมาอยู่ก็ได้2 กันทุกปีอ่ะคนหน่วยกล้าตาย
Lunch in about 45 minutes.
ก็เดินซอย
The forest has recovered well from the fire that burnt out much of the area 3 years ago. The same fire demolished whole suburbs in Canberra City, 150 kilometers to the north, largely because a plantation of exotic pine trees had caught fire. But native eucalypts are fire-resistant. Irregular fires are necessary to enable new seedlings to replace the trees that have become old. The faster and fitter workers, Dee, Nushi, Surawut, Apuradi, and Somsawat, are keen to push on. There is no track, and Dawn is not sure how to best reach the summit. So, the students split into 2 parties, keeping in touch by mobile phone. It's nearly 2 o'clock and way past lunchtime, but the advance party is close to a rock outcrop near the summit where there's a good view. Here's Wombat Hole. The rest of the party has made it. Caesar is wondering whether she's cut out to be a climber. It's good old Aussie sandwiches for lunch. Don is trying to win his students of rice and noodles. Everybody is eating the sandwiches, even though they are thinking that they taste like cardboard. Apuradi and Sarawut air their newly acquired knowledge of Australian ecology.
บรรยากาศตอนนี้ก็อากาศกำลังดีต่อค่ะ
สูงมากไหม
เราใช้เวลาเดินกันมาประมาณ3 ชั่วโมง
แล้วทำไมเมื่อกี้เดินมานี่มันมีแต่ตอไม้มีฐานเต็มไปหมด
ที่
เลย
นี่แต่ก่อนโดนไฟป่าเผาไหม้ไป
3 ปีที่แล้ว
3 ปีที่แล้ว หลังจากนั้นก็มีการฟื้นฟูป่ากันใหม่ ก็มีต้นอาคาเซียต้นยูคาลิปขึ้นมาใหม่ สัตว์ประจำถิ่นก็คือมีพวกวอมแบทกระต่ายป่า
เมื่อกี้เจอไปกี่
4-5 รู
วอมแบต
อ๋อรูใหญ่ๆนั่นใช่ไหม
เป็นสัตว์ตระกู
อ๋อ
ล
เมื่อกี้เราให้
มี
โอ้
ขนาด
ถ่าย
ใหญ่
ถ่าย
เรียก
เหมื
ว่า
อนกัน
หนูยักษ์
แล้วอาคาเซียมีประโยชน์ยังไงคะ
อาคาเซียเนี่ยมีไว้ให้จิงโจ้ได้แทะเล็มแล้วก็ให้มีมันแมงเล็กๆมาเกาะอาศัยวอมแบทก็จะมากินแมงพวกนี้ในเวลากลางคืน เมื่อตะกี้เราเห็นนกแก้วสวยงามมาก แล้วก็ชั่วโมงที่แล้วเราได้ยินเสียงปืน2 ครั้ง เข้าใจว่าผู้เมียนจะกินเขาออกมาล่าจิงโจ้
เอาไปกินเหรอ
เราปีนป่ายกันมาด้วยความเหนื่อยยาก แต่เราก็มุ่งมั่นที่จะมาพิชิตยอดเขานี่ให้ได้ เพราะว่าถ้าอยู่เมืองไทยเราไม่มีวันจะได้ทำได้อย่างนี้อย่างเด็ดขาด เพราะเราชอบขับรถ
The trip back to the bottom will follow the ridge on the northern side of the gully. It looks straightforward, but is steep in parts, so care is needed to avoid knee injuries. Fatima is the first to make it back to the northern estuary of the lake. This estuary was once the Jindabyne River that flowed freely into the Snowy River, both now reduced to trickles because of the dams built in the 50s to redirect these once great rivers and irrigate the cotton farms in Australia's riverina region. The party is in good spirits after a successful climb of Mount Kalkite. It's time for a refreshing dip. Sarawut has decided to dispense with his life jacket. Apiridi and Nushi are enjoying the swim. Dawn joins them. Benushi looks apprehensive. She has uninvited company.
Ê, มันหาผมเหรอโอ้โห ตัวมันเล็กอ่ะ
ตรงนี้พอดีเรียกได้ตรงนี้พอดีเลย
เอ้ยเบาสเน็กก็เปล่า
Oh yeah.
ขึ้นไป
ไม่เป็นไร สารคดี
It's a copperhead. It's poisonous,
มันไม่ได้ยิน
like most Australian snakes, but not as dangerous as a brown snake. The most dangerous snakes in this area are king browns. The snake simply wants to cross the river. Dawn tells the students to give it a wide berth. If its passage is blocked, it might attack. What Shirin follows Nushi, who is swimming to the bank on the other side. Chokchai isn't impressed.
อาจารย์ลงไปอาจารย์ต้องมาแล้ววันเดียววันเสาร์
อันนี้ก็งูใช่ไหม
โอ้ดูอาจารย์เด็กหัวอาจารย์ลง
นี่งูเปล่า
Finally, Dee ventures into the water. She's been waiting for a long time for her pee o'clock.
ปรับอุณหภูมิเรียบร้อยแล้วฉี่เรียบร้อยแล้ว
เอาชูชีพของเราคืนมา
เรือแล้ว
Apiridi is tired from her swim and the excitement of the copperhead.
เท้าก่อน
Nushi stays on the other side. She's worked out that if she stays there, only 2 ferry trips and 1 trip back to the launching site are necessary to get the remaining 12 students back. That's one less trip that it took to get here. The wind has come up, so care is needed to keep the canoe
แม่
upright.
น้ำไซบุรีแม่น้ำปัตตานีว่าครูก็เหมือนเรือจ้าง มีหน้าที่ส่งลูกศิษย์ให้ถึงฟากบางครั้งลูกศิษย์ก็จมน้ำบางครั้งลูกศิษย์ก็เปียกออกปอนแต่ความมุ่งหวังของครูก็คืออยากให้ศิษย์ทุกคนได้ข้ามนาทีมหาสมุทรไปสู่โลกกว้างอย่างมีความสำเร็จของชีวิตนี่คือความภูมิใจของคนชื่อดอนแมคเนล
Sarawut gives his thoughts about the role of teachers in Thailand. Dawn doesn't agree with him, but lets it go. The students are happy. They can see where they have been. The mountain smiles benignly back at them. It's after 6 p.m. and the sun is beginning to set over the mountain. As usual, the kangaroos watch the proceedings. They have seen it all before.